In this week's Arena Spotlight, we're here to talk about Paladin. Over the last few expansions, Paladin has experienced its ups and downs. When the bucket system was first released in the Witchwood, Paladin was incredibly powerful. Many of its top bucket cards such as Spike Ridge Steed and Vine Cleaver appeared very commonly, and the Paladin would steamroll through the late game. Near the end of the Witchwood, Arena went through changes where rare cards, epic cards, class spells, and weapons appeared less frequently. Additionally, Paladin underwent micro-adjustments, and weak cards such as Redemption and Noble Sacrifice began to appear more often. These changes hurt the Paladin enough that it had the worst win rate. Now, with Rastakhan's Rumble release and the recent micro-adjustments, Paladin has become a good class once again. In January, our Arena expert Tachi averaged 8.3 wins with Paladin over 17 runs, and noticed that the class was remarkably consistent. Here are things that you should know when it comes to drafting and playing the Paladin class. When it comes to drafting a Paladin deck, there are 3 areas to focus on: the mana curve, finishers, and initiative. Uther is best played proactively, and even its reactive cards such as Aldor Peacekeeper and Ghostly Charger give you decent stats for their cost. When it comes to a mana curve, you're aiming for 3 1-drops, 5 good 3-drops, 4 good 4-drops, and 3 5-drops. Notice how we didn't include a requirement for 2-drops. Most 2-mana cards you pick in Paladin are buff cards, and the only premium 2-mana minion you want is Stubborn Gastropod. Now, why the lack of emphasis on 2-drops? As a Paladin, your hero power is strong enough that you can afford to skip your 2-drop. If you're going second, you'd rather coin out a 3-drop on turn 2 as opposed to playing a 2-mana card. This is the best way to maintain board control so you can use your buffs to snowball a bigger lead. Finishers are cards that essentially win the game on the spot. Fungalmancer, Silver Sword, and Bone Mare are some of the most common cards used to finish the game. These effects make your board a lot taller, so you're less likely to be wiped by board clears such as Flame Strike, Defile, and Warpath. Without these finishers, you can win early but might struggle to close out the game. Ideally, having 3 to 4 of these cards will make your top end complete. Late-game minions such as Violet Worm can also act as finishers, but they're prone to efficient removals. Even if you're not looking for late-game minions, you'll still see them pretty often just because they're compared with very bad cards. As a general rule, you want a maximum of 5 cards above 6 mana. With curve and initiative considerations, you do not want too many cards that you can't play before turn 6. Cards in your hand that have an immediate effect such as rush minions, weapons, and stat manipulation effects offer initiative. As Paladin, you have limited access to board clears and damage spells, so you can only win the game by continually having a board presence. Your hero power also doesn't immediately affect the board, so you need other ways to deal with minions in case your opponent pulls ahead. Once you have enough curve and finishers, you should look for cards that help you stay on board. For early game, Fireplume Phoenix and cheap weapons are extremely good in gaining initiative. As for the mid-game, Ghostly Charger, Dragon Maw Scorcher, and Faraki Battle Axe are powerful initiative-gaining tools. Paladin is typically the aggressor and wants to gain board control early. When it comes to mulligans, a large part is affected by going first or second. If you're going first, you're searching for a 1-drop and a good 3-drop. If you have both already, then look for a 4-drop. If you're going second, however, you want to search hard for multiple 3-drops and a 1-drop. As you are the aggressor, look to hit face as much as you can. Don't be afraid to leave minions on board, as there are only a few things that can punish you. Always be looking for a reason to hit face instead of trading. If you can't think of a way that your opponent can punish you, send the damage to the enemy hero. It's important to be aware of what removal spells your opponent's class has access to and aim to play around these as best as you can. For example, be hesitant to develop a wide board going into turn 7 against mages, as Flame Strike can punish you immensely. Now let's take a look at this 12-win deck. As you can see, this list followed the rules mentioned in the video, making for a much more consistent deck. If you follow the general deck building tips given in this video, you'll notice your win rate begin to increase. Historically, Uther has been a popular class in the arena, and this is still the case. By understanding the importance of curve and initiative, you should be able to draft a more coherent deck to improve your win rate. This wraps up our Paladin Arena Guide. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and let us know what arena topics you'd like us to cover next. Be sure to subscribe in order to stay up to date with all of our Hearthstone content. Have a wonderful week!